Everyone, Caresoft Technology would like to welcome you to our Box Koufax webcast. Before we get started, I would like to go over a few items. All of your lines have been muted to reduce background noise, and we hope you take advantage of the Q&A pod on the left side of your screen to ask any questions throughout the presentation. We will do our best to answer all of your questions at the end of the presentation. If for some reason we do not get to your questions, the Box and Koufax teams at Caresoft will follow up with you offline. Caresoft is a trusted government IT solutions provider delivering software and support solutions to federal, state, and local government agencies. Caresoft maintains dedicated teams to support sales and marketing for all its vendors, including Box, Koufax, Symantec, Adobe, EMC, VMware, and Red Hat. Our contact information will be at the end of the presentation, so please don't hesitate to call or email us for any of your needs. This webcast is being recorded, and a copy of the presentation will be emailed to you. At this time, I would like to introduce our speakers for today. Wai-Sin Lee, Senior Business Development Manager at Box, and Rick Tolan, OEM and Business Development Technical Lead at Koufax. Wai-Sin, the floor is yours.
Thank you, and hello everyone. It's a great pleasure to present to you today. My name is Wai-Sin Lee. I'm from Box, and I want to start this webinar by first reviewing some of the recent market trends we've been seeing. Businesses are moving fast, and every business is actually going through some major changes based on various factors. Three of the most important ones that we're seeing are, number one, the consumerization of technology. Users expect simple and intuitive apps that they are familiar with and that doesn't require user manuals to learn. They're also becoming much more mobile and expect easy access to their files, anytime, anywhere, and on any device. And finally, users expect apps that make it easy to share information, data, and updates, all in real time. Another trend that we're seeing is the way we are working is actually changing. Just think about the new generation of workers in your company. They seem to have a different expectation based on us having new devices of our own choosing, more information available on our fingertips than ever before, being able to share more freely, both internally and externally, and they want to be able to remove hierarchical barriers at work. And finally, because we're always connected, we're always expected to be working. Finally, we're also experiencing a new shift in computing paradigm from client-server model to a pay-as-you-go, flexible and scalable cloud computing, where cloud model enables more of an easy access of information anytime, anywhere, on any device. Here are some eye-opening stats to illustrate these trends. 53% of users in a survey done by Forest Workforce employees have seen that users actually use 3 or more devices for work. 80% uses 7 or more apps for work, and 37% of users actually work from 3 or more locations. These trends are basically driving users to bring unsanctioned apps and new devices to work. And these things actually, they're doing this because it helps them to be more productive. Unfortunately, many of these apps brought into the workplace do not provide the appropriate levels of security, visibility, or controls. And as such, it's actually creating a very sharp divide between users who want simplicity, speed, and anywhere access, and IT who needs security, visibility, and control. But even though we see this divide, one universal truth remains, which is information is a currency of business. Everything that you do at work involves information and content, and this information needs to be shared and collaborated on. For example, when was the last time you actually created a PowerPoint just for yourself to see? So probably by now you're wondering, well, where does Box fit in all of this? Well, our mission is to make businesses more productive, competitive, and powerful by connecting people and their information. With Box, businesses can get, companies and businesses can get a platform for next generation collaboration, either out of the box or to build on. We'll provide instant mobile productivity on any devices with all of your favorite apps, and also best-in-class security to ensure that the information and content stored within Box is always safe. Organizations use Box in a number of ways, but the 4 most common being The first one, replacing aging infrastructure with more user-friendly and secure collaboration applications. Get instant access to all the important information from anywhere and on any device. In fact, we build on all the major mobile platforms, including iOS, Android, Windows Phone, and BlackBerry. They also want to be able to get collaboration with a network of people, both internally and also externally. And finally, to build a web and mobile productivity apps on top of Box platform and transform business processes. Organizations can do all of this in Box without compromising enterprise security and compliance. Today, at Box, we have about 225,000 businesses and organizations using Box, 25 million users, and it's used within 99% of the Fortune 500 companies. And because content management is a universal issue, our customers span across every industry. And because Box is a scalable solution as well, we are also deployed in businesses of like 3 seats with startups in a garage, or all the way to a 300,000 seat deployment, wall-to-wall deployment at GE. Forrester believes that we are the leader in the sync and share space, a space that we're super proud of. And that's mostly because we sit in the center of user needs of simplicity and anywhere access, and also IT requirements of security, visibility, and control. We also deliver value to businesses. In a recent survey of over 320 Box enterprises conducted by Tech Validate, we found that Box reduces project turnaround time by 18% on average. 79% of our customers think that Box makes it easier to provide access to content through mobile devices. 86% believe that Box improved communication with their organization, and 92% says that it's easier to share content externally. Well, and because we're a content management platform, we have a growing ecosystem of business application and security partners, including Koufax, that have built integrations on the Box platform. And because we design with IT requirements in mind, compliance plays an important role, and we work to make sure that we're meeting our customers' compliance and security standards. We've been also investing heavily and steadily in building a platform for enterprise since 2007. We've been improving our capabilities so that we can exceed expectations of all the organizations of all sizes year over year. And we also view security in a very holistic manner, and as such have built securities on several levels. One, the user security, including role-based access and user activity reporting. We also have data security, including third-party audits and encryption for data at rest and in motion, and also integration security, ensuring that all integrations with different apps are also secure. So now let's talk about a little bit more about Box within the government. Box is actually used in a number of government agencies and departments. So, for example, GSA uses Box for mobile content access, as does the Department of Commerce ITA leverages Box for mobile content access on their iPad and also internal collaboration. Box is also a sanctioned tool, sync and share tool for the U.S. Senate. A good federal example is the U.S. Army War College, which is part of the Army training doctrine, where the senior Army staff goes through a 10-month master's training program. So prior to Box, the U.S. Army War College used to issue printed books that and other reading materials that basically stack up to 2 to 2.5 feet tall. This is a pretty heavy load for the students to carry, and also rather environmentally unfriendly. But more importantly, it's actually a financial burden for them to print out these materials for 400 students year over year. So as such, they digitize the content and put it on Box, giving the users, giving the students easy access to the training materials. And it actually brought them over $250,000 of annual savings. So 5 top use cases for the government that you can leverage Box would be sanctioned secure sync and share tool file systems consolidation, external collaboration, both G2G, G2C, and G2B, and of course, enterprise mobility and mobile content access, and also next generation platforms, so think case management, grants, rules, invoice processing, which all can actually be enabled by our partner Koufax. So with that, I'd like to pass the ball to Rick Tolan, who will talk more about Koufax and the joint integration.
Good afternoon and good morning to those out there. Koufax is excited to be a part of the intelligence solutions for government from Carahsoft, and also to be a technology alliance partner with Box. A little bit about Koufax. Our tagline is making the first mile of business smarter. The first mile challenge is the key to getting documents into systems. And then I'm going to talk a little bit about Koufax, some of the problems that we solve, and your Koufax advantage, and then I'll follow up with a live demonstration of delivery into the Box solution. So who is Koufax? Koufax is a leading provider of smart process applications that simplify the business-critical first mile of information-intensive customer interactions. That means that when we need to get documents into a repository, into a workflow, Koufax is the leader in doing that and onboarding those documents to deliver them where they need to go. Koufax has a global presence. We're listed on both the NASDAQ and the London Stock Exchange. We're headquartered in Irvine, California. We have over 1,200 employees in 30 countries, 800 plus channel partners across 70 countries. And we're successful with over 20,000 different customers using our solutions every day. Software seats in the 150,000 plus range and billions of images handled on a daily basis. We work with tens of thousands of ERP, CRM, and line of business integrations, and we're widely recognized in our space. Oysen brought up the idea that there's many different types of devices that are out there, and that there are all kinds of different ways that information comes to us. And we call that the systems of engagement. It's where there's a generated real-time information-intensive communication that takes place. And in the old days, that used to be just a scanners in a specialized department or something like that. Today, that could be paper, that could be electronic documents from faxes to emails, it could be through portals, multifunction devices, mobile devices, especially tablets and the phones that are out there today, and then all the different other ways to bring things on through EDI and XML streams. On the other side is something very familiar, is the systems of record. These are enterprise applications designed for internal use. Many of us are familiar with the cost accounting systems, the budgeting systems. Maybe there's file systems that exist out there, IT and telecom infrastructure. Box fits in very nicely between something called ECM and records management and database and other archives. It provides that flexibility between those two. And where Koufax fits is we are the glue between both of those. So we transform and simplify the business-critical first mile of constituent interactions. That results in an optimized customer experience, greatly reduced operating costs, and dealing from that point of origination where that document comes in and that user interaction that needs to take place to get it in. As Oysen discussed, there's many different ways that everybody interacts with things, and to bring those all together into a platform where they can share that storage activity and enlighten any other process that may be downstream, whether that be for an archival reason or for something like heavy workflow. Both of those apply in the world, and Box and Koufax are working together to solve that. In the government agencies, primary drivers, according to IDC, Gartner, and the European Gartner studies, reducing costs certainly is always a top concern. That administrative costs, shared service modeling, IT data center consolidation and infrastructure optimization, increased efficiency. How do we streamline processes and information exchange? Certainly with Box as a conduit for that, but Koufax as a conduit to the Box conduit. Enable faster service to the constituents. Everybody's clamoring for that. My home state of Missouri just this morning signed on that by 2021 they will have a solution where every document is available to the constituents who need to get to those in an electronic format, not just as an archival to be searched for, but to interact with as well. Also, improving information management, information sharing, about collaboration, and then when it's with the constituents, the government 2.0 kind of idea. The governance and information management that needs to take place. Koufax is readily available to provide an auditable solution for the delivery of those documents and the information around those documents. The other side to take a look at is to turn any type and form of document into an electronic information at the point of entry. I mentioned a point of origination. This is an outstanding image quality so that we don't have to automatically crop things with our own hands, and we can automate the process. We can get high data accuracy and visibility of that document. We can trigger any kind of process from any type of document. We standardize and secure the way of capturing, classifying, validating, and then routing that information. Finally, improve collaboration and service to the constituents. This gives us a high quality image. We have fast adaptation to fit the business needs, and it increases our processing efficiency. Back to eliminating costs. Manual data entry is the burden of everyone, business, government, even the individual. Printing, copying, filing, searching for documents, storage and shipment of documents. We get fast payback and reduction of manual labor, but we also eliminate risks due to delays, loss, misplacement of documents. We provide a traceable and auditable approach at each touch point for that document, and this reduces processing time, cost, and most importantly, risk. Koufax has added a connector, as mentioned, to the Box solution. Our capabilities and integration with Box include, and this is free to all of our customers. We have several different solutions, anywhere from desktop type solutions through Workgroup and enterprise and multi-tenanted systems. Our ability to set file settings, do auto naming of documents, folders, and actions that would take place, folder settings and auto foldering, and you'll see some of that as we go forward here. And then finally, we support image formats that are typical in the industry, multi-page formatted documents such as the TIFF format, JPEG when it's a specific document where images is everything, and then PDFs when we need searchability of the document, whether it's for length or for archival purposes in a PDF/A. We also have the ability to skip first pages should things need to be labeled. And we're designed to work with low bandwidth networks. We automatically can work with the internet connectivity to a box or an intranet style or interagency network activity, as we often do, and you'll see with the Box solution. The value of Box and Koufax working together. We ensure compliance, we improve the accuracy and the quality of collaboration, centralized distributed document storage, we provide consistent document filing and naming, extend the capture, storage, collaboration, and agency applications to any location in a supported manner that is auditable. Government agency applications include health and human services. This may seem like a very obvious activity, but there's a lot of document that takes place when the health and human services. In this case, it may be just digitize the case files that are able to be found. So the results of the solution are that many, over 90,000 cases, millions of pages of paper are received. Automated handling mailed documents are taken care of, and the employees can work on the same case at the same time because of the visibility of those documents that is provided. That is, in state governments, we find ourselves working quite often with and projects and activities that are tied around specific types of documents. These types of documents can be extracted to pull further information out of them, and then we can reduce errors and provide quicker response and queries, costs, as well as the storage activity around those, and that provides for a better solution for everyone. Now I'm going to step through a fairly quick demonstration. Share my screen here. I want to show you here. So this is my Box account. I've created off the base file folder a Koufax directory so that we can provide activity. And there's nothing provided here at this point. Back at my capture solution, in this case I'm working with some patient records. I can do a simple scan here. Koufax is the leader in Forrester's wave for multi-channel capture. Multi-channel capture was first applied to Koufax, and we very gratefully have the highest position and the strongest market presence around that. At this point, while I wait for this to come up, are there any questions?
We actually just had a question come through for Box, and the question is Box like Dropbox?
That's a good question. I think oftentimes, mostly because we share similar names, people get us confused. But no, Box is not the same as Dropbox. For us, we've been, from our very get-go, our DNA has been within the enterprise content management. So while we both do sync and share, Box's focus is much more towards companies and organizations that value security and compliance much more. And as such, though we provide both the sync and share and file storage capability, our focus is on bringing the enterprise-level security to our customers.
Okay, we have another question that just came through. Does Box have any customers in state and local government?
Yes, so we do have a few customers within the state and local government using Box. I actually don't have those examples right now, but the general use cases for us is really on three fronts, right? So file sync and share, so the ability to just upload your content in the cloud and be able to access it on any device. And then also the mobile access, mobile content accessibility, and also the internal and external collaboration.
Thanks, Wyson. All right, we have another question that just came through. Sounds like Box would be a great fit for agencies such as Child Protective Services. Is that true?
Absolutely. I think Box solves a horizontal issue, right? So some use case that I can think of from the top of my mind, and I'm sure the attendee who's probably much more familiar, closer to the organization probably knows, like in Child Protective Services and the census, there's probably a lot of documents that you need to fill out on perhaps on a mobile device or something, if you're either on your iPad or some tablet, if you're on site, or perhaps you need to share certain documents, both internally and externally. Box would be a great solution to enable that.
Koufax also sees that as a play where it's not only documents at rest, but actually documents in process. So in the case of case management, whether it be workflow driven or store and forward style activities, those both apply as well as the archival side. It may be between different systems that are sharing that same data set without having to create copies over and over again or move documents.
All right, we have another question. Is Box with Koufax used simply in a scan to archive solution, or is there a fit if the customer is also doing KTM?
That's a great question. So that's what I was just mentioning a moment ago, is that most people start thinking about, I'm storing documents, and how can I move from just something as simple as a file share. In the case of Box, we can actually provide that midstream, whether that be used by one of our BPM products, like our Koufax Total Agility, or delivered from faxes coming in, emails being delivered, any kind of a transaction type activity can also be covered. That's where we see the KTM technology often being used in that space. So it applies to both. Like I said, anywhere from a desktop style connection to the very heavy lifting of business process management with multi-point capture. Both apply.
Great, thanks. We have another question. So Box allows caseworkers mobile access to files and also being able to collaborate with other caseworkers and managers, correct?
Correct. So a very common use case for Box is the ability to upload your document once into Box, and the ability to access that same document whether you're on your tablet, your smartphone, your laptop, or company desktop. We enable security preferences for both on the back end. The admin can able to dictate certain security policies that may, give the end user certain levels of sharing. So, for example, admin can say this file, this folder with these types of files are not allowed to be shared externally and can only be shared internally. That is up to the admin to choose how they want to regulate. On the end user level, the end users themselves have access controls as well. So the end user can also decide whether I only want to share this document with a certain individual, or I want to create a URL that can be accessible by anybody who has access to the link. So while we give the anywhere mobile access and also the ease of sharing, we also empower the admin and also the end user to set security controls in case there's some restrictions on how the file should be shared or not.
Great, thank you. It looks like we may have the demo working now, so if you want to take it back over.
Yes. So in this case, what I'm doing is taking on some patient records. I apologize for this. And what we're doing is automatically finding information that are on these documents. You can see that it's splitting it automatically into different documents. It knows which departments. It knows who the patient is. It knows their birth date coming off of the documents as well. And this can be then drive how delivery of those documents. And this would apply to case files. This would apply to invoices. It could apply to just about anything from contracts all the way through images of projects that are underway and so forth. One of the key things that happens here is we've also automated all of the indexing that takes place here, including taking and changing the dates around so that we know what kind of a date the encounter takes place on here. So now if I simply do an export activity, I'm going to show you what it looks like over here. So under the Koufax area, in the all files of the share that we have through Box, that's where we're going to start putting everything. And I'll explain it as it starts to formulate here. So I'm going to go ahead and export those. Those are all scheduled for export. Refresh here. Here we go. So we've automatically created a directory. In this case, it's using our Koufax Express product. So what I've done is I've created it so it can dynamically create if the folder doesn't exist. We identify that it's a place to deliver Koufax Express export activities. If I dig further into there, I can see that I'm working with patient records. We've automatically created a patient records directory. And within patient records, we have now, based on each user that would be in there, different records that will appear for each patient that is being handled. I'm just going to let it fill through here. You can see just almost as quickly as I can refresh it here, I've got more documents appearing, more users taken care of, more information available to share among constituents, no matter what department that they are in. Okay, so in this case, we've got, I've turned out PDFs, so we know that we've been able to name them based on department activities, based on the date that something has taken place. And the nice feature of Box is they can lock it down so I can do a pure web view of everything that's taking place within this document set. For their PDF viewer built in. And that's how we provide a structured and yet flexible with a good user interface to onboard documents, in this case patient records, but it could be any kind of document from any type of source and provided in any kind of structure that you may need. That's the value of Koufax and Box working together. Thank you for your patience.
Great. I guess we can continue because it looks like we have another one that came through. What version of Koufax Express are you using? Is that the web-based version of Capture?
So there are three main products for doing capture. One is Koufax Express. It's made for those departments or remote sites that are going to be putting in documents in a work group setting. It's built to work on a LAN. Our Koufax Capture product is our mainstay staple product that we've had for many years. That includes the KTM or Koufax transformation modules that can read into the types of documents, automatically separate them, automatically extract data from them, no matter what source they come in from. And that can be extrapolated over multiple sites in a production site that is distributed and is extensible to mobile and MFP and all types of imports, whether it be emails, faxes. I should mention also emails with attachments. We can automatically extract embedded documents, even if it's an EML file, for instance, with various documents within, and treat those as constituent documents that would be needed. And then finally, we have the combination of our capture expertise in the field and BPM all tied together in our multi-tenant capability, thin client-driven solution, and that's around our Koufax Total Agility. I should mention that there are capabilities to do thin client activities with the Koufax product as well. That can be handled through the same front office server that we use for mobile technologies as well as for MFP technologies. It has a thin client capability. And then all of the products in the what we call the transformation modules of where we extract data, those can run as thin client modules as well. Kind of a long answer, but there's many ways to get to wherever you need to be, depending on how complex the document solution needs to be.
Okay, great. And the next question is, isn't this possible just with the file system export connector?
So Koufax does have, I assume that they're talking about a Koufax export connector. Is that correct?
The question doesn't specify, but...
So typically, scan to archive activities take place usually with a scan to file system. This is different than a file system. This involves using RESTful APIs to use web services to communicate to the box solution. It authenticates using the OAuth technology, and which can then extend whatever your corporate or constituent groups may provide out there for federated log-on and single sign-on activities. So it's much more than what the file system activities are. Most everything kind of looks and acts the same way. There's very similar settings between ECM solutions, for instance, between the hybrid that Box provides and then traditional file systems. And with the addition of the upcoming second API, we'll have metadata capability and to be able to drive solutions much deeper with our partners at Box.
Okay, and can mobile capture be used?
Absolutely. Mobile capture can be used in multiple ways. So we have mobile capture technologies that work on Android and iOS solutions. We also have the capability to use the tool set server-side for Windows Phone activities. And both of those can be done through the KTA product, the Total Agility with the business process management and case management capabilities, as well as a Koufax capture can be extended, something that might be already in place in many states and many different shared services centers. We have the capability to extend what's already there out to the tablet or the mobile device.
Great, thanks. If anyone else has any questions, please feel free to direct them to the Q&A pod. Thank you, Wyson and Rick. If all of you could please take a moment to answer the polling questions currently displayed on your screen, it would be greatly appreciated. I want to thank all of our participants, as well as Wyson and Rick, for being with us today. We hope this webcast has been helpful for you and your organization. If you have any further questions or would like to request more information, feel free to contact the Box and Koufax teams at Caresoft. Our contact information is displayed on your screen, so please don't hesitate to call or email us. Thank you and have a great day.